Is the lighting okay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah, you good.
Okay.
So I'm sending a signal now.
How long we got?
Man, we go about 20, 25 minutes.
Okay.
Me and Tim DeTellus had a good time this morning, man.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, love that dude.
Yeah, he's great, man. He's great. He's great. You guys heading to Haiti?
I was scheduled to go last November, and then the hurricane hit.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Right. You should see it in a second. There we go. Kenny Sanchez. What's up, man?
Hey, Kenny.
Kenny, drummer boy. What's going on, man? Pastor Eric Lacey, how are you, sir?
Hey, Lacey, how are you, Pastor? Good to have you.
Lisa Yarborough, hey. Hey, what's up, y'all? Instagram. Come over to Facebook. I have the Dr. Timothy Sloan, author of Stand, joining me right now. Come hear all the great stuff he got going on Facebook. And I'm going to share this in a few other places. Dr. Sloan, you surviving over there with your family in Greece?
Yeah, we doing all right, man. Yeah, I've had some food deliveries. Me, Tim J, Soren hanging tight, man.
Come on, man, get in there and cook something.
Bro, I do. Hot dogs, spaghetti. Yeah, man.
The dad life something else, ain't it?
Hey, bro, listen, but I do Italian food quite often.
Okay.
Yeah, we do Italian food all the time over here. Pizza. Yeah. We do it real good.
Boy, you sure learn the value of a good wife.
Oh, bro, in a major way. But my youngest has stepped up. My youngest daughter, man, she stepped up in a big way. So appreciative that some of the motherly leading has rubbed off on her, man. So
all right. Yeah. Regina Wynn. Oh, that's my friend, Regina. We go way back. EPA, my first career working with Environmental Protection Agency. How's the family? Everybody doing good? Roman, you've been partying with me all day, man. You've been hanging out. You got endurance, sir. That's why you a good too, man. You got endurance. Yes, sir. All right, y'all. Well, we go jump into it. I know a lot of people will come on and watch this later. If y'all can share it, I want to introduce to some a great man of God, a great ministry leader, great author, great writer, just educator, just a great person, man. And so, Pastor Sloan, thank you for joining me today. I'm having a house party today. I'm having an online virtual book release party, man. I'm excited because my new book, It Takes Two, Who Was Helping You Lead, is officially out today on Amazon. And so, man, I'm celebrating by talking to people that I love and respect, that I feel like who are giants in what they do and in leadership. And so I wanted to have you on, man, and just talk a little bit about this subject, but also just really to hear about you and kind of like what's going on in your world today in 2018. So, man, thank you for being a part of this.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you, bro. Grateful for the opportunity to share with you, man. Congratulations on your release of your new book, It Takes Two. Listen, I know firsthand, if there's anybody who knows about supporting and undergirding and helping to reveal vision, it's you, man. And you have done it in my life, the life of the Luke Church, man. We're eternally grateful to you. And so I'm excited now that we're at least getting closer to some duplication of your gifts, man, by sharing your message with the whole world. So I hope everyone goes and gets It Takes Two, Who's Helping You Lead.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I'm gonna jump right in. I'm gonna say something because I think it applies to our relationship. In one of my chapters, I talk about the motivations of a two. And I say, you know, there's a lot of people that have motivations, and good motivation and bad motivations. A lot of people do certain things for a lot of the wrong reasons. And I feel like I'm excited about this book because I feel like it is the word God put in my mouth for the world, for the nation, not just the church realm, but the business realm, the small business sector, because I feel like there's a problem. And I feel like I'm trying to address a problem that I'm seeing. I see it in ministry all the time, this unbridled ambition, this I can't be the other person. If I'm not the man, I got to go start my own church, or I got to go, you know, I'm not getting my name in lights and he getting all the credit or she getting all the credit, so I'll go do something else. And I've seen people who were great twos and great threes and great fours, and they were doing well. They were excelling. They were touching thousands of people's lives, but they were working behind the scene. And all of a sudden, someone get in their ear and say, well, you smart as he is, or you can preach too, and why don't you have your own? And this is happening. So I'm watching it, and I'm like, God, it's not right. I don't feel like that is not how the kingdom is supposed to work. And then I see it in business. You know, corporate America is not an issue, because if you go work for Microsoft, you know you're not going to be the man. you know who the CEO is. Like, you have no chance to be the CEO in corporate. But in small business, in ministry, in all these other places, it's like, why can't nobody just say, okay, I'm a 2, I'm a 3, and I can be a great 2 or 3 versus being an average 1. So in this chapter, the motivations of a 2, I said the right motivations are: 1, you're called to do it. 2, you have a love for the leader who needs your support. C, you have a love and passion for seeing the vision of that organization come to pass. Or D, a combination of any of the above. And I said that because I want to say this to you. My motivation for helping you is because I loved you. I loved you, and I saw the vision of what you were trying to do. And so that was my motivation. So I just kind of wanted to get that out first. Like, man, I saw you, and I saw what you were trying to do, and that was my motivation. So I could come in and slide in, help you. I don't care if nobody ever knew what I did. It didn't matter to me, but it mattered that you were fulfilling the vision for your life that God gave you. So I just want to tell you, man, I love you.
Well, I appreciate you. That is definitely mutual. And I think it was evident to me early on that you were operating in a call that you sensed from God to help support the ministry, but to help me to unveil what I believe God was calling me to do. And so I knew right away that your love for me, your sense of calling was evident. And I think that's why it was so easy for me to trust you and to be able to open up, because you couldn't have helped us do what we did if you didn't get the full scope of what I was seeing and how I felt and what drove me. And so you saw everything with me. I think as we continued and progressed, there was this sense of common trust. And I think that's what is critical in relationship between the one and the two. And then I think that it was effectively demonstrated to everyone in the church, because you couldn't have had the fruit that we experienced if it wasn't for some strong relationship between you and I. And I think that I'm grateful for God having sent you to be a part of that, and I'm grateful for your sense of calling, because the worst place to be is outside of the will of God.
Yeah. So talk to me a little bit about, from a pastoral standpoint, like the challenge of finding quality help.
Yeah. Wow. I guess I have to reference kind of what brought us together. And that was, I was in a season where I was desperate for some support, because the mantle that I had was too large for me. And I had avoided the reality that I couldn't carry it all. And then God thrust me into a season of crisis when our administrator passed suddenly. And so here I am struggling with this mantle, trying to carry it by myself and not knowing what to do, where to look, where to go. And so it drove me to this place of desperation and prayer. And I think that's when God sent you. I think a lot had to happen in me before God could release you for that relationship to blossom. And so there's a major challenge, because you're struggling as a one, worrying about who you bring in and who you give access. And, you got to wrestle with your ego. You're struggling if you've been in a situation where you've been betrayed, or you had a season where you went through some struggle like we did before you, and so then you're wrestling with who to trust. But that's why I go back to when you and I connected. It was pretty easy for me to effectively release that to you.
Yeah, let's go a little deeper, Doc. Let's one of the things I talk about is that when you're looking for a two, the two needs to be healthy.
Yeah.
You need to be emotionally healthy, mentally healthy, financially healthy. But then I also, in a chapter with me and Dr. Daniels, talk about it's important for a leader to be healthy enough to have good help and good support to give some of that authority, some of that influence, some of that power a little bit away, so that they can do what they need to do. I know you have a serious ministry outside of, let's not even talk about the Luke, but in terms of mental health and health. Let's talk a little bit about that. Why is mental health so important right now in leadership, period?
Yeah, man, I was thinking about that really hard yesterday and the last few days. That a lot of leaders don't recognize how important it is for them to nurture their mental and emotional health. And, it's unfortunate that it's only until we get to a place of crisis that we're forced to have to try and deal with it. But it works so much better when you pay attention earlier. Now, I know it's in the news now, and we have the passing of Anthony Bourdain, and we're dealing with Kate Spade, and those two celebrities are bringing it up. But the reality is that every single day, there are leaders who are struggling to get out of bed. they're struggling to get their thoughts together. They're finding it hard to develop relationships, to be able to communicate with people, and they can't figure it out. When the reality is that they're going through some season of mental challenge. And so it's so important, because you can't effectively lead if you don't deal with the one aspect that helps you to be effective, and that is your mental clarity and your emotional health.
Yeah, that's good.
And I struggle, man. I struggle with a lot of the fact that a lot of leaders just won't deal with it until a season of crisis. And I think that's, my personal, I think, challenge with that, because I've gone through it and I had to deal with it.
Yeah. So why is it? And I mean, I know we've hosted roundtables at the Luke or Pastor, and I know that's a part of your assignment to kind of speak to that. And like I said, this is, this book is not just a church book. It's not just for pastors and leaders. This is leadership. This is organizational development. This is man, just period. But why don't you think leaders stop and deal with that? Like, get the help that they need. Like, you're leading so many people, and thousands and some millions of people. Why is it so hard to say, you know what, I need to go talk to somebody?
I think a lot of it's the falsehood of this thought that you've got to have some perfection. You've got to model perfection. When the truth is that God never looked to send anybody perfect. He's trying to work with your imperfection. And I think a lot of us are afraid that if we admit it, if we identify it, then it's going to signal that there's something wrong with us. And so we won't face it. We won't deal with it. We think that people will think that we're weak or we're less than. But the truth is that it makes you even more effective if you're willing to wrestle with it, because you understand where the person in the pew or the person in your corporation or in the school is dealing with these same issues. You have a heart of compassion, and you also have some strategy on how to help them handle it.
Yeah. Well, man, you've been a model of that, since I met you, just an advocate for mental health and therapy and how it can be beneficial to our leaders, to our pastors, and to our leaders. So give me, I would say, qualities that you look for. So there's a chapter in my book called The Qualities of a Two. And so my objective for writing this book, and again, if you just joined me, this is Dr. Timothy Sloan, the author of Stand and the senior leader at the Luke Church in Humble, Texas. What are some qualities that you look for when you're hiring your 2 or 3 or 4, your team, your executive team, because that's who I'm really targeting, the executive leaders, the leaders who help you lead, whether they're on staff, whether they're leading a major department in your organization. What are some qualities that you look for?
Yeah, well, I think I can say, first of all, that the one thing that is not that high on the list is how much talent you have. That's important, but I'm looking for some sense of trustworthiness, as we talked about earlier. I'm looking to see if you've got a mind that has some ability to do some thinking strategically, and I want to know, do you have some exposure and expectation? So have you been exposed to something outside of where you are at this moment? Do you have some sense of reach and expectation? Because if there isn't anything internally driving you, it's going to be hard for you to help drive us and to see where I'm trying to push us. So I'm looking for that. I'm looking for commitment, the trustworthiness, a sense of calling on your part, on that person's part. They're not just simply wondering; they're really in pursuit. So I think that those are a couple of key ones to me that jump out. The reason I said that the talent is important, but it is not the ultimate on the list, because I can teach you a lot of the skills. I can give you exposure, and I can connect you, and we know that progressively you're going to grow. but I can't teach you how to be loyal. I can't teach you how to be trustworthy. There has to be something, that's embedded in you. Yeah. Yeah.
Tell them, all the people who you lead, tell them go get this book, because that's what I'm speaking on.
Yeah.
The stuff that you're looking for, I want to help the leaders. And this is a thing too. I was talking to my wife, who she's a mental health therapist, but I was talking to her about, she was asking me, was I excited about the book? And I was like, yeah, I am excited that the book is out, but I'm more concerned about the conversation that needs to be had about what's in here.
Yeah.
So I'm more concerned about the message. So one of the things that I'm doing, I'm as God opens those doors, I want to go into every church, to every organization that has a staff, that has leaders, and I want to do some staff development. I want to do some leadership training, because I think these principles are so important to get. You talked about the skill, you talked about loyalty. See, I want to talk to I want to put this spirit of a two, especially in the church sector, on people who serve and support leadership. So I'll be doing leadership trainings and leadership weekends for the rest of this year, because I just feel like, man, you got to get that. And you got to understand, what does it mean to be loyal?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people have a false sense of loyalty.
Yeah.
It's loyalty when it works for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's not how it works. Loyalty, I speak of this, is you know how loyal you are when you're offended or you have opportunity.
Yeah.
That's when you need to pay attention. If they're offended for whatever reason by you, how will their loyalty maintain? Or if they have an opportunity to do something which they deem is greater or something else, those are some true tests of loyalty. So I'm excited about doing that. I want to give you a shout out. One of the things I know is a quality for you is excellence. Yeah. And so I talk about on page 44, while serving with Dr. Timothy Sloan, pastor of the Luke Church in Humble, Texas, I learned the slogan he uses to help his leadership staff understand their team philosophy. Efficiency plus effectiveness equals excellence. And so I got you in here, Doc. I'm talking about you in here. So kind of explain that kind of KB equals E to the 3 kind of mantra that you establish in your organization.
Yeah, well, first of all, let me connect these two from the last question into this one. Is that, again, when you and I connected, I immediately had a sense of trust that was growing quickly, and then I began to realize how many gifts you had, and the expectation you had with you. So then when you came in, that was, I think, one of the first things I did share is that I wanted everything we do to be done in excellence, because you can't attract or sustain unless you're sending a signal that what you're doing replicates a great desire and love for God, and that there has to be a sense of excellence. So in our staff, we always say that if we're going to do kingdom building, anything we do, any activity we have, we got to run it through this test. Is it efficient? Can it be done with efficiency? Is it going to be effective? What will be the outcome in the end? Will it be transformative to some degree to the people that we're attempting to reach? Is it going to make a difference that they spend this time communicating with us or participating in a program? So you're looking, is it efficient? Is it going to value that person's time and their effort and their energy? And is it going to be effective? And then that, again, that equals a sense of excellence, that what you're doing really does replicate your desire to please God. It demonstrates, the value of your spiritual life. Mm-hmm. And anything we do around the church, we're hoping to try and demonstrate that we don't take for granted where we are or what we have, and that you've got to treat your thing, whatever you have entrusted to you, with a real sense of excellence.
Yeah. Well, man, it was a joy, man. I feel like I know you like the back of my hand. I know another thing. It's not, I don't speak to it, but just people taking initiative, I know is important for you. If you got to do all the thinking and all the planning as you lead your organization, I know that's frustrating. I still know I know how you go act. I know you ready to go home you come to the office and ain't nobody got no new ideas. I know
That's
that one.
right. You really do know me like the back of your hand. Yeah, that's one of the things that pushes my button, man. You got to have some sense of initiative that you're thinking about some things before I have to bring it to you. If I have to bring it to you, and then I've already thought about it 50, 60 times over and over in my head, and the conversation of why you haven't gotten to it or why you haven't in some way dealt with it. So you're right. I look for initiative. That's a big piece for what I'm looking for in people.
Yeah. Well, man, Dr. Sloan, I want to thank you, man, for giving me the opportunity to work with you, to serve under you. And then just, if we never did anything in ministry or business or anything like that, man, just to know I got a friend. Yeah. That's important, man. So I thank you for opening up the church last Friday, giving me a chance to kind of be in front of some family and friends and share this before it officially came out today. And so, man, I can always count on you, man, and I'm so grateful for our friendship.
Well, I echo those sentiments, man. And I'm grateful. I am so grateful to God for you. You epitomize this role of the number two. And, again, I think maybe later you begin to realize just how much God trusted me to send a gift like you for the season that he afforded us. And so, maybe God really thought a lot of me to bring someone like you aboard to help us to flesh out some of the things that we were wanting to do or envisioning. But I'm grateful to God for you and for your mind, the way you think, but more than anything, your heart. And I see your heart. So again, I'll say it. We didn't necessarily open the doors for you at the Loop. Those are your doors. And you helped to do a lot of what we're still experiencing and participating in. It's because of you. And so, again, I have no problem. And number one has to be able to be healthy enough to say that as well, man, that it ain't just because of my hands and my thoughts. There was somebody behind the scenes who was driving a lot of it. And a lot of what's happened at the Loop is because of you.
Man, I just thank you for the opportunity, man. I tell people all the time, when I started B&B Consulting in 2001, the vision for us never changed. It is to help leaders and visionaries identify, interpret, and strategically transform their visions into realities. So my whole business concept was a two-man concept. I wanted to be a Barnabas that came alongside of great leaders, walked with them, help them bring their vision to pass. And like I talk about in this book, I don't care if y'all ever call my name. Like all this, even being out front doing the book and media and radio, like it's uncomfortable for me. I understand it's a necessary evil, but I would rather be behind the scenes helping you do what you need to do, or helping. I see Pastor Charles Perry, hey Pops, how are you? Helping other people achieve their dreams and visions. Because here's the thing, we're in with this, and I want to end different with this one. I got another pastor, Laquan from Georgia, who's going to join me in a second. But I think it's so important as a pastor, as a leader, to know who you're selecting, because there's a danger if you as a senior leader, and this is back to from a biblical standpoint, if you pick a Joshua but you need a Joseph. Joshua is going to replace you. Joseph is going to serve you, and is going to be okay with riding that second chair, and they don't need the lights. They don't need the fame. But I've seen so many pastors in particular pick Joshua's or pick David's. It is like you just picked your replacement, and I don't think you at a stage of replacement yet. I think you got another 30 years in you, but that Joshua, he's dreaming about his dream. Joseph and people like myself and other two men, we're dreaming about your dream.
And that's what you shared with me the first day that we met, was that your call was as a Joseph and to interpret dreams. And you did just that.
Yeah.
Witness that. Yeah.
So y'all, so Dr. Sloan, how can they find you? How can they find the church? How can they find your book? Which I was so excited to be a part of that project, man. Seeing that from thesis, seeing that from dissertation, and seeing all of that come to fruition. So how can they find it?
Yeah, well, on TimothyWSloan.com, you can go there and pick up the book and order it. It's on Amazon as well, Kindle book as well. Or you can find us on the Luke at theluke.org. And, that's the ground on which we're tilling every single day. But Timothy W. Sloan, Stand, Learning to Lead Through Conflict. Helping you realize that it's inevitable in leadership. You just got to learn how to navigate your way through it. And you can find me on social media, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. It's at Timothy Sloan.
Well, man, y'all, this was fantastic. You met a great friend of mine, Dr. Sloan, Humble, Texas, north of Houston, right there in Houston, Texas, man. A great man, great leader, great writer. Pick up his book. I know there's another one that should be coming soon. Come on, man. I know the vision. I know what's going on.
All right, Joseph. Thank you, sir. You're correct. You are absolutely correct.
Let's do it, man. And whatever you need from me, bro, I got you.
I appreciate you, man. Again, congratulations on It Takes Two. So glad, man, that you're sharing what's in you with the whole world, man. And leadership is going to be blessed by this book. I hope every pastor, because that's my field, will pick up this book, man.
Yeah. Well, thank you, man. Thank you. Just real quick, I some mornings I get a chance to join your prayer call and see what you're doing. Just real brief, man. Can you pray for the leaders who serve in a two-man and maybe they struggling with ambition or peer pressure or stuff that's trying to make them not be committed and loyal to their leader? Can you just pray for us? Pray for all the 2s and 3s out here and executive leaders and vice presidents and vice principals and COOs. Just a quick prayer, just a prayer of blessing.
Sure, absolutely. Well, God, I thank you so much for the privilege you give us to serve you and to bring glory to your kingdom. And God, I pray, Lord, for all those, Lord, who you've assigned to help support in ministry and leadership in whatever business that you have afforded to them the privilege. I pray that, God, you'd comfort and encourage their hearts. Let them know that they're chosen specifically for this particular assignment, that, God, you didn't place them or you didn't mishandle them. You put them exactly where you want them to be. Pray for clarity of thought, that everything, God, that you're attempting to download in them, God, is received. And I pray, God, that you'd open them up, Lord, so that they continue to receive the revelation you have for them and for those whom they serve. Pray, God, that you continue to lead us in order to bring you glory. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, y'all. Y'all go get the book today on Amazon. My PR specialist, she just let me know we hitting the bestseller list already. So, man, great job. Thank y'all for support. Tim, love you, man.
Love you more.
All right. Talk to you later.
All right.